Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube video. This one, it's a little close to my heart. That's why I decided to do this. And I decided to wait a day before doing this just because I didn't know how I felt about this. And given that it's been about a day since the announcement happened and everything like that, I've kind of decided to kind of talk a little bit about my thoughts because I grew up watching Babylon 5. I'm not one of those people that sit there and say Babylon 5 is better than Deep Space Nine, is better than Star Trek. I don't believe that. However, I believe that Babylon 5 as a universe, a franchise, and a whole is very, very, very up there with Star Trek. I still believe that Star Trek is better, but J. Michael Straczynski's vision of Babylon 5 and the universe and everything like that, I feel could have been something like the Star Trek universe, just a little bit more less utopian. And I know that Star Trek did dive into less utopian themes, but Babylon 5 was more of a realistic look at the future of humanity and the races and everything like that. I own all five seasons on DVD. That's only because I don't think it's on Blu-ray. I haven't looked recently, but last time I looked, it wasn't. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed this show back growing up. I mean, as I said, it was definitely a different take on Trek. Um, the Narn, the Minbari, the Vorlon, the Centauri. I love the cast and crew. I love the ambassadors. I love the idea that you've got all of these ambassadors and you've got all these diplomatic shenanigans going on. Later on in the show, then you get into the Shadow War, and then even Babylon 5, and the I don't remember what the revolution, but when Mars and Babylon 5 annex themselves from the what was it called? Now I can't remember. Now I'm losing my nerd card, but whatever the organization with the Earth Alliance, I think, or some, I don't remember. I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've actually watched the show again, but I'm due to watch it again, so maybe I will with this announcement. So now you're like, well, come on, dude. Like, okay, we got your history and everything like that. Like, tell me what you think. It's a double-edged sword here because although they are making a remake, it has potential. It also has J. Michael Straczynski at the helm. I This is one of those instances where I think it is leave well enough alone unless you're doing like a Star Trek The Next Generation where you're going 30 years into the future after the end of Babylon 5 and then you move on with the universe and you have new characters and stuff like that. In the same universe, you kind of update some of the stuff and, tie some things in. I don't believe doing a reboot is a good idea. I don't want to reboot. I want to leave Babylon 5, the original, the way it is. Let's jump forward a little bit in time. I mean, it's been about 25, 30 years since this show came out on television. I really feel like we should just go from 25 years from the end of Babylon 5 season 4, 5. I went 5 seasons. Babylon 5 season 5, all the way up through, I'll get into season 5 in a second. All the way up through, all the way up through like 25 years later. You can still have the Minbari, the Vorlon, Centauri, the Narn. You even introduce some other races, but you could really like expand upon it and even have some guest characters come back. I mean, really, if you did it in the same universe just years later, and I'm not saying do like a Picard thing, but like, you could have like Ambassador, Sheridan, or something come in like a retired Sheridan or something like that. And it doesn't even have to be set on Babylon 5, although it is called Babylon 5, so you might have to do that. But I don't want to reboot. I don't want to redo. I don't want to rehash. I kind of want to take what we had originally and move forward 25 years. A new threat comes. The shadows return. The whole conflict between the Centauri and the Narn. They can expand a little bit on the Minbari human war, which really humans should have lost, but unfortunately, the actor who played Garibaldi has passed. So, but check out, Walter Koenig, who plays the head psychop. I mean, he's Walter Koenig's still alive, so why couldn't we have him come back as like the head of the Psi Corps, do something with that? And just there's so much that they can do with this universe, and I really feel like we need a sequel. We don't need a reboot. I thought a lot about this because I was thinking, oh yeah, this will be cool because it's like we'll have, it'll be a reboot. We'll have new cast members, updated technology. We'll get epic space battles. And I kind of went back and thought about it, and I'm like, we kind of did have epic space battles already. Maybe not in today's standard, but back then. And I don't mind them doing updated technology if they want to do a remaster like they did with the original series, and deck out a lot of the space scenes with like CGI, and not maybe not deck out, but like update with CGI, and then even some of the effects that were aged very poorly in the show. Just kind of do a lot of tweaking with that, and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like that this is definitely something that should not be. I don't know how to say it. This is definitely something that should not just be rebooted and restarted. I feel like that there was a lot of good story there in the Straczynski original series, and I mean the guy wrote seasons 1 through 4 before the first episode even aired. So he knew where he was going with this show from seasons 1 through 4. The whole now, granted, I don't think he had like every line written, but he basically had a whole huge outline of where he wanted it to go, and it was definitely more planned out than any shows. Every things in season 3 and 4 tied back into season 1. Then it got into season 5 after the writing ran out with Straczynski, and I believe Straczynski was still involved. But it definitely was a step down, and there were problems, and that's kind of where the show went awry. And then they tried spin-off shows, and that didn't really work. Although they weren't bad, I've seen them, and I own them. I've owned all the Babylon 5 stuff, but I don't know. I really feel like this is not the reboot is not the way to go. I think a sequel. I think a sequel years past is probably the way to go. As I said, there are actors that are still alive that could come back in supporting roles, or guest roles, not supporting roles, guest roles. I know, and actually, I think the actress who plays Delenn is dead too. I mean, there's a decent amount of actors who have passed away from this show, but I know there are still a couple left over. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe. And we are the greatest YouTube channel you have never heard of. I will catch you in the next one. Later.